Hi everyone, and welcome to this video that I thought was really important to share based on the women I speak to on a daily basis who are experiencing different types of symptoms. And there are always a lot of questions around different methods and techniques and all of that, but what is the most important actually is the mindset. When you have decided to take this journey to heal naturally, whatever you want to heal, and this video will be specific about pelvic floor dysfunctions such as prolapse, incontinence, pain, wideness, numbness, everything. The mindset I will try to summarize in this video is what I actually learned on my own journey, that it's super important how you think, how you talk, how you approach the whole journey. So I'll try to clarify that for you. And I wanted to start with just reflecting on how the healthcare system looks upon this. Of course, they never ever speak about the mindset at all. They just give you a diagnosis and expect you to move on with your life, and that's most of the times not the case for anyone who have experienced pelvic floor dysfunction. So their mindset is actually just to cover symptoms. They want to get rid of the symptoms as soon as possible, and if it's not a long-term solution, they don't really care, because the most important thing is to get rid of the symptoms. And the mindset that I would like to present here is actually the opposite, to try to understand the symptoms you are experiencing. And why is that? Because symptoms are here to show you something, and you can really grow from this experience if you choose to look at it that way. And if you start to reflect on why is the symptoms here and what do they need from me, that is such an important question. What can I give my body, my nervous system, my mind, so that these symptoms don't have to be so dominant in my life? And that's also the thing with symptoms, that if you don't start to listen to them, if you ignore them, if you try to cover them, they will grow anyway. And they will, at the end of it, they will scream at you. They want you to listen. They don't want you to go on in your normal life and just, ignore whatever the body is trying to communicate with you. They want your attention. They want you to stop and reflect and do something in a different way. And when you finally have this mindset, it's amazing actually. It's an exploration in your body and in your life. And it might sound very philosophical and kind of spaced out, but I have seen it with so many women that when they start to look at the symptoms in a kinder way, and not like they're enemies, but actually in a way that they maybe can guide you to a better life, it's so much more fun. It's horrible being that kind of victim who's like, why am I experiencing this? Why me? No one of my friends are experiencing this. I did this and this and this, and anyway I'm experiencing this. The mind will always kind of complain about the situation, and you can go with that, but that's going to take you nowhere. That's going to probably increase any symptom. And for me, on my journey, I did that a lot in the beginning, a lot. And once I started to realize I can't do it because it's not going to help me, it's going to make the healing process slower. So when I finally realized that and I became more aware of how many times I was a victim every day, that was a real challenge to change that mindset. But you can do it. You can change it, and don't expect miracles to happen like this. But slowly, if you work on that mindset, it will become your superpower throughout the healing journey. And so that's another thing I just want to touch on, expectations, because it's a really fine balance when on a healing journey, starting to really implement different practices in your daily life, removing bad things from your system, and giving all this effort and energy and time and money. It can be really challenging to not have any expectations on the result. And the thing on a healing journey is you cannot have expectations. That is just going to make you sad, because your mind's expectations will not be what is going to happen in reality. So that's a really important component to the healing mindset, that you don't have expectations. You invest everything you can from your heart. You show your body, you show the world that this is what you want. You want to heal, you're doing everything you can to heal, and yet you don't have any expectations on the result. It's a really fine balance, and I did that mistake a few times in the beginning too. I was like, okay, now I've started hypopressives and it's gotten better. Now it's going to be like this, and like what I had experienced from most processes in my life before. But the healing process is so unique to everyone, and the most common way of a healing journey is many ups and downs. Just keep that in mind, that try to leave your expectations, just show your wish to the universe and you will get it. And I talked a little bit about before that if you cover up the symptoms, they will probably grow and get bigger. And I have a really good example of that, and it's scar tissue. So scar tissue is a symptom. Usually, for many women, they start off with realizing they have pain, they have prolapse, they have some kind of pelvic floor dysfunction. And the root cause probably is scar tissue. The scar tissue itself is also a symptom. And if we work with this symptom, if we do, for example, scar tissue remediation, if we practice vaginal steaming, if we work with the nervous system, if we work with diet, these are just a few examples. We can actually dissolve scar tissue if we create an environment for the scar tissue so that the cells and the fascia and the nervous system is in a happy place, a happy environment. Then scar tissue can actually dissolve. It has dissolved for me, not completely, but it is dissolving, and it has for so many women. On the contrary, if you do not do anything, if you just live your life, you don't do any type of practice to connect with the scar tissue, creating more blood circulation and giving the cells oxygen, making it possible for the cells to clean themselves, and so on, the scar tissue will actually grow. I think this is so fascinating, and I was just mind blown the first time I heard about this concept that scar tissue will grow. That's what happens when you get a scar. It will try to, spread. And in my ears, it makes so much sense. And I think for me, that's definitely what happened. Like over the 4 years, I didn't take care of any scar tissue inside my vagina at all. And the shift I've seen since I started to work with it, it's amazing. So that's a very concrete way in, follow the symptoms, trying to understand what do they need from me so that my body can heal. And once we start to get to know our body and the symptoms, we can also start to look for signals from the body. I look at symptoms and signals very similarly, because if you are experiencing a symptom and the body is saying something to you, it's communicating, it needs something from you, and you apply that. So the same thing would be with signals, but that's more in a positive way. So, for example, so many women ask me, can I exercise? Now I have some kind of pelvic floor dysfunction, I'm leaking, I am experiencing prolapse, and so many women ask me, can I exercise? And I think it just tells me so much about the general mindset to our bodies. I don't know if you can exercise, only you know. And it can be tricky, of course. I exercised more than my body wanted to in the beginning. So what I want to say here is that when your body sends you a signal that I want to exercise, more from within, from your belly, from your heart, that I'm longing for this. I'm gonna enjoy it. I will feel so much pleasure, rather than from the mind being like, you should lose weight, you should be more fit, you shouldn't eat this, you blah blah blah. Instead of focusing on what the mind tells you, trying to listen from within. And a really good way to do that, especially with exercise, I would say, is to not exercise for as long as the body is not sending you a signal that I want to. And then what is it that the body wants to do as an exercise? Is it going to the gym lifting really heavy? Maybe it is. Or maybe it's just somatic movements, working with the nervous system and the body, or some kind of slow Pilates or yoga. I don't know, but that craving that comes from within is a really good signal to follow. And that will also increase the power in the mindset on your healing journey. So whenever you listen to a symptom and try to follow it, and maybe you will do mistakes in the beginning, that's fine, but the intention is to follow it. Same thing with signals. If you try to follow them, slowly you will actually get better in this capacity to heal and to listen to what you need to do, that no one else has told you, no doctor, not the society, not your friends, no one else but you. You are reclaiming your own body and giving it what it needs. It's such a beautiful journey. It's amazing. And it's so hard, especially in the beginning, because it's like we haven't used that muscle in all our lives. And then suddenly we're going to start to use it. It's going to hurt a lot. So be patient when you start to practice this. So the final part of this video, I just wanted to add, since we are really talking about the mindset, that our thoughts and words, if we speak them or we think them, are also super relevant to the healing journey. And so many women express my prolapse or my pelvic floor dysfunction. And there is actually proof that whatever we call mine, the mind will cling to. It will take it, it will try to keep it closer. So if you express my family, my house, my job, whatever you love that you want to keep, that's amazing. We don't want to put my or mine in front of any symptom. Not even the word symptom. So don't say my symptoms. The symptoms that you are experiencing at this moment that will pass and go away. So that's also a really important mental aspect of this. And just reflect on how you communicate. how you express yourself. And showing the world what you want is so important. So just to make it very clear, do not say my prolapse or my incontinence. Instead, you say the prolapse or the incontinence. It's gonna take you a long way.